Okay, welcome to another video. Let's talk about regretful parents. Some people hate it when I do this. Some people like it. I am just yet to be convinced that hating on your children is a good thing. Look, I've said this before. I don't think everyone that joins the subreddit is necessarily a bad person. Some of them, and actually a large number of them, seem to be suffering, seem to have either mental illnesses or financial problems, or they're single parents, or they have no support from their partner or family, extended family, or they have terrible co-parenting arrangements, or maybe they have 2 or 3 of those problems all together, and that's never good. I'm sure it doesn't make it easier on them. But my point is, it's not their kid's existence that's the problem. Like, take this mom, for example. Did you manage to change your life around despite having children young? For example, career-wise, or become financially secure? How did you do it? I was 22, 23 when I had my first daughter, and then a year later, I had my youngest daughter. By the time I was 25, I had 2 children under 2. I have never developed a career or attended university. I always worked dead-end jobs before having my children. Well, that's not ideal. That's quite scary, rather, to be that young and not having your career figured out and already having 2 children to take care of. I get that this is not good. When my daughters were 18 months and 2.5 years old, I separated from their father and ended up becoming a single stay-at-home mother. Being a single parent, not easy. In the UK, we are fortunate to have government assistance to help until our children reach school age. Good. Once your children are school age, you're required to work part-time. I have nothing to say about this, except this is a tangent commentary. Being a libertarian myself, I believe in small government, and I do understand that, having some sort of assistance to single parents is generally a good idea. It's really difficult for them, and how are you supposed to work and still be a single parent, right? It's incredibly difficult, and I understand the urge to help them. However, sometimes with government policies have side effects. And I wonder if this policy and if this, government assistance in the UK, I wonder if this has increased the number of single parents. This may be an incentive for people not to get married when they have children. Just a side note, that has nothing to do with this post. Let's move on. In any case, this mom seemed to be the type of person who this type of government assistance really helps. And I'm glad that she got that help and she was able to stay with her kids at home until they reached school age. This is fantastic, actually. Children, before they're 3 or 4, it's really difficult for them to be away from their parents. Let's move on. I recently began my own cleaning business in which a year I have developed around 10 clients. I think she means in a year I have developed around 10 clients. I enjoy what I do and the flexibility it gives around being a single parent and all the childcare responsibility. Ever since going back to work, I realized I want to develop a career and maybe go back to studying. The problem is I have no village and their dad is the weekend parent. Now, good for you for having a business and 10 clients. I'm really happy for you. Consider this. Many people go the route that you talk of. Many people, they go to school, they go to college, university, they pursue a career, and they climb the corporate ladder, and they leave, starting a family kind of to the side, like it's not their priority. And some of them reach a certain point where they don't have any time anymore for that. Like they didn't find a partner, or maybe they did, but they, kept postponing having kids, and now it's too late. What I'm trying to say is, some people, and the number seems to be increasing, do exactly what you say you want to do, and they are extremely unhappy now because they don't have kids and they don't have a family. A career is not everything, turns out. And that's what I have to say. Life is just funny this way. Some people are very sad about what they have, whereas other people would be incredibly happy to have exactly what that person has. It's weird. Going back, I regret becoming a parent due to having to be the default parent. I feel stretched as it is, but I dread the future once my children reach teenage years and adulthood, as I won't have developed a stable career for myself. Fair. The idea of being financially secure feels a long way off. I wish I knew how to turn my life around, especially when you feel restricted. Any advice is appreciated. It's really unfortunate that you have little support from your family and your ex-partner. But again, going to college and becoming an employee is just one way of doing things. It's one way of becoming financially secure. It seems to be what most people do, and it's, very legit. But there are other ways, and becoming an entrepreneur is another way. And it seems like you're already an entrepreneur, which is commendable. That's amazing. And what I would do if I were this mom, I would work on scaling my business. She has a cleaning business. Maybe just go on social media, make those satisfying time-lapse cleaning videos, or make videos giving tips about cleaning products. Any way that she can maybe expand and get more clients, to the point where once her kids are older, if she still wants to go to college, she could sell her business and pursue that. That's what I would do. I'm not saying it's easy, but and there's no easy things in life, right? I would at least try to scale my business if I were her. It's just something to consider. Sometimes we think our situation is the worst, but other people would just love to be in our shoes. It's crazy this way, right? Moving on. This Reddit post, I like this one. What do you need in order to not be regretful? For example, if I had a night nurse plus a nanny, I wouldn't be as regretful. I think this is the right mindset. I know this was meant to be a joke, like it's unrealistic for most parents to have a night nurse and a nanny, but this is perhaps the most useful post I've seen in this subreddit. What do you need in order to not be a regretful parent? Like the minimal that you need. Maybe you can afford 2 nannies, but how about having some time for yourself every week? Would that make your life a little bit better? Would that make you not hate your child as much? Because if it would, maybe it's worth trying to achieve that, People spend all their waking hours wallowing in regret, No wonder they're miserable. I support doing this instead, determining the minimal necessary for you to not be as regretful. And realistically, I'm not talking about, oh, I wouldn't be a regretful parent if I didn't have children. You have children. You can turn back time. What do you need now to not be as regretful? Determine that and move towards it one step at a time, slowly but surely. And maybe eventually you won't hate your children as much. And I think that's a good goal. That's it. And finally, this regretful parent. No one told me how often you will be sick when you have kids. Okay, I feel you. I am so exhausted. I have a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old doesn't even go to daycare, but still manages to bring home every virus imaginable after a play date or play group. We are no longer going to be going to any more play groups this winter because I'm tired of being sick every month. On top of her bringing home all these illnesses, I find her behavior is absolutely the worst when she's sick. Days like these make me really question why I became a parent. I miss my old life. Look, I get it. Our family are just recovering from another cold. I lost count. It's only April and we've had I don't even know how many viruses have been around in our home. My daughter does go to daycare. So yes, it's probably even worse than this parent's situation. And when we take our daughter to the doctor because of yet another virus, they tell us, oh, this is normal. Being sick 2 to 3 times a month when you have a small child in daycare, that's normal. But I think this is one of those things in modern life that are absolutely unacceptable, but everyone had to make amends with because everyone has to work. And when my daughter gets sick, my husband and I get sick. In fact, I'm a little sick. You may notice by my voice. None of us is able to sleep. She's miserable. And then my husband and I get sick too, and sometimes simultaneously. And life doesn't stop when you get sick. Things still have to get done. We have to do things even if we're dying. But do I regret my daughter? Fuck no. She's an innocent child with no immune system. She's building her immune system from scratch. She's only 2. I regret having to send her to daycare. I regret not being rich. I regret not having become rich by now. I regret not having flexible hours. I have to be at an office from a certain time to a certain time. Yes, I can get sick days. Yes, I can, talk to my bosses and stuff, but still, I don't have this flexibility that I would have if I was an entrepreneur, for example. So I regret that. I regret not having looked at it at a certain point in my life. Oh, I want to have kids. Why don't I seek a more flexible career? I regret that. I regret that we live in 2025 now, and, just a generation prior to us, it was just normal for a family to live with just one income. Families would get by with just one income. I regret that when it's our turn to have our families, that's not possible anymore. We need 2 incomes. We need 3, sometimes 4 income streams. That sucks. I regret that. I don't regret my daughter. I'm not stupid. It's not her fault. It's rather my fault. It's rather the world's fault because things are fucked up. It's not my daughter's fault. It's not this parent's daughter and kid's fault. Okay? Her behavior is absolutely the worst when she's sick. Of course. She's 3. I'm 36 and my behavior is the worst when I'm sick. Just offer her love, lots of love and snuggles and care because she needs you. And, move on. Having your child sick is the worst. Sometimes you need some time for yourself because it's so stressful. But the way this parent is choosing to frame it is actually cruel. And I guess that's it. Like it or not, that's how I feel about the subreddit. And subscribe, leave me a comment. People seem to have a lot to say when I make videos about this subreddit, Regretful Parents. I would love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.